I sat on my sofa that Thursday evening, staring at my phone like it had just betrayed me. My hands were shaking so bad I almost dropped it. The video was still playing. My daughter Destiny's voice came through the speaker, loud and clear and full of laughter that made my stomach turn. "Can you believe she actually thinks we appreciate her?" Destiny said on the video. She was sitting on what looked like their fancy new couch. The one I didn't know they had bought. Like we're supposed to be grateful just because she pays our bills? Then I heard Marcus, my son-in-law. His voice made it worse. "Your mama is such a pathetic failure, babe, working that little nursing job and acting like she's doing something big. She should be grateful we even talk to her." They both laughed, actually laughed, like it was the funniest joke in the world. The video had been sent to me by accident. I could see that Destiny meant to send it to someone else, maybe her friends, maybe more people who were laughing at me right now. The message above the video just said, "OMG, wait till you see this," with a bunch of crying, laughing emojis. My daughter, my only child, the baby girl I had raised by myself after her father walked out when she was 3 years old. The little girl I had worked double shifts for, the teenager I had believed in when nobody else did. That same daughter was calling me a pathetic failure while sitting in an apartment I paid for. I put the phone down on my coffee table right next to the stack of bills I had been looking at before the video came. Their rent bill, their car payment, their credit card statement. All with my name on the payment history. 8 years. That's how long I had been paying their bills. 8 whole years of making sure my daughter and her husband had everything they needed while I made do with what was left over. The tears started coming, and I couldn't stop them. Before we continue, please drop a comment if you've ever experienced something like this. We'd love to hear your story and subscribe to the channel to help us grow. Let me tell you how it all started. Let me tell you how I became the pathetic failure who was supposed to be grateful her own daughter would talk to her. Destiny had always been my whole world. After her father left, it was just me and her against everything. I worked as a nurse at County General Hospital. The pay was okay, but raising a child alone in this city was not cheap. Still, I made it work. I made sure Destiny had what she needed. Good school supplies, nice clothes, a roof over her head, and food on the table every single night. I taught her to be strong, to be independent, to know her worth. I thought I was raising her right. I really did. Destiny met Marcus when she was 24. He seemed nice enough at first, polite, always called me Mrs. Reynolds, helped carry groceries when he came around. But something about him felt off to me. Maybe it was the way he never seemed to have a steady job, or the way he always had some excuse for why money was tight. But Destiny loved him, and when your child loves someone, you want to support them. You want to believe the best. So I pushed my doubts down and smiled at their wedding. I even helped pay for part of it, even though I had to use my savings. That was the first time I should have seen it coming. "Mama, we just need a little help getting started," Destiny had said. She was sitting at my kitchen table, the same table where I had helped her with homework for years. "Just until Marcus gets his business going. You know how hard it is out here." I knew exactly how hard it was. I had lived through hard times my whole life. So when my daughter asked for help, what was I supposed to say? No? Tell her to figure it out alone when I had the ability to help her? I started with their rent, just the first 2 months, I told myself, just to help them get on their feet. $4,000 total. It hurt my bank account, but it was for my daughter, my baby girl. 2 months became 4 months, then 6, then a year. Marcus's business needs more time, Destiny would say. Or we had an unexpected expense. Or things are just really tight right now, Mama. And I would pay every single time. My best friend Candace tried to warn me. We had known each other since high school, and she knew me better than anyone. We would sit on my porch on Sunday afternoons after church, drinking sweet tea and talking about life. Vivian, baby, you need to cut them off, Candace said one Sunday. She was looking at me with those worried eyes that told me she cared. That girl is grown. She got a husband. They need to figure things out on their own. She's my daughter, I said. I can't just abandon her when she needs me. There's a difference between helping and being used, Candace said quietly. And honey, I think you're being used. I didn't want to believe it. I couldn't believe it. This was Destiny, my daughter. The girl who used to bring me flowers she picked from the neighbor's yard. The teenager who would fall asleep on my shoulder during movies. She wouldn't use me. She loved me. But the years kept going, and the bills kept coming, and I kept paying. I started picking up extra shifts at the hospital. My body ached at the end of 12-hour days, but I told myself it was worth it. My daughter needed me. I was being a good mother. That's what mothers do. They sacrifice for their children. I stopped going out with Candace and the ladies from church. Dinner and a movie cost money I didn't have anymore. My own car started making a weird noise, but I couldn't afford to get it fixed because I had to pay Destiny's car note. My roof started leaking in the corner of my bedroom, but the repair would have to wait because Marcus needed new tires. I wore my old nursing scrubs until they were thin. I cut my own hair instead of going to the salon. I bought the store brand everything at the grocery store. I made my leftovers last 3 days instead of 2. And through it all, I told myself I was doing the right thing. I was being a good mother. My daughter needed me. But then the visits started getting shorter. Destiny used to come by every Sunday after church. We would cook together, talk, laugh, watch our shows. Then it became every other Sunday, then once a month. Then only on holidays, and even then, she would rush out after an hour. We're just so busy, Mama, she would say, already heading toward the door. You understand, right? I understood. I always understood, even when it hurt. Phone calls became text messages. Text messages became short and simple. Can you send the money to this account instead? We need an extra $500 this month. Thanks. Never. How are you, Mama? Never. Are you okay? Never. We love you and appreciate everything you do. Just requests, just demands, just expectations that I would keep giving and giving and giving until there was nothing left of me. Last month was my 58th birthday. I spent it alone. Destiny sent a text at 11 o'clock at night. Just said happy birthday, Mama, with a heart emoji. Nothing else. No call, no visit, no card. Candace had taken me out to dinner. She bought me a slice of cake and made me laugh until I cried. But inside, my heart was breaking. My own daughter couldn't even call me on my birthday. That should have been my wake-up moment. That should have been when I stopped. But I didn't. because 2 days later, Destiny called asking for help with their electric bill, and I paid it without question. I was sitting at my kitchen table tonight, going through my own bills. The hospital had cut our hours. Money was tighter than ever. My checking account was almost empty. My savings account was completely gone. Wiped out over 8 years of making sure my daughter had everything while I had nothing. The rent bill for Destiny's apartment sat in front of me. $4,200, due in 5 days. I had been trying to figure out how I was going to pay it. Maybe I could ask for an advance at work. Maybe I could pick up an extra shift. Maybe I could skip paying my own electric bill this month. That's when my phone buzzed. A message from Destiny. I smiled, hoping maybe she was checking on me. Maybe she was going to tell me she loved me. Instead, it was that video. I watched it 3 times before it fully sank in. Before I truly understood what I was seeing. My daughter sitting on a couch I had never seen, in an apartment that looked way too expensive for people who claimed they couldn't pay their own bills. Wearing a designer outfit I knew cost more than my monthly grocery budget. Her nails freshly done, her hair styled in expensive braids. And she was laughing at me, calling me pathetic, making fun of me for working my nursing job, the same job that had paid for everything she had. Marcus was even worse. Talking about how I should be grateful, they talked to me, like I was some burden they were dealing with out of the goodness of their hearts. Like I hadn't been the one keeping them afloat for almost a decade. I sat there on my sofa and I cried. I cried for the daughter I thought I had. I cried for all the years I had sacrificed. I cried for all the times I had gone without, so they could have everything. I cried for my own stupid, foolish heart that had believed love meant giving until you were empty. But then something else started to happen. Behind the tears, something cold and hard began to form in my chest. Anger. Not the hot, explosive kind, the quiet, calculated kind, the kind that makes you think clearly for the first time in years. I picked up my phone and looked at the video again. This time I didn't cry. This time I watched with different eyes. I saw the expensive furniture, the designer bags in the background, the new TV on the wall, the lifestyle they were living while telling me they were struggling. Then I looked at the stack of bills on my coffee table. 8 years of receipts, 8 years of bank statements, 8 years of proof that I had paid for everything while they pretended to be broke. My phone buzzed again. Another message from Destiny. This one made my blood run cold. OMG, Mama, ignore that last message. I sent it by mistake. My phone is acting crazy. Love you. She knew I had seen it. She knew I had watched that video. And instead of apologizing, instead of explaining, instead of showing even a tiny bit of shame, she was trying to play it off like it was nothing, like it was just a technical mistake. Not sorry for what she said, just sorry I had heard it. I looked at that rent bill one more time. $4,200, due in 5 days. And for the first time in 8 years, I smiled. I didn't respond to Destiny's text, not that night, not the next morning. Not ever. For 8 years, I had responded to every text within minutes, every call within seconds. I had dropped everything whenever my daughter needed me. But now I let my phone sit there, silent, while the messages kept coming. Mama, Mama, did you see my message? Call me when you get this. Mama, seriously, my phone was glitching. That video wasn't supposed to go to you. I read every message, and I deleted every single one without responding. The silence felt good. It felt powerful. For the first time in 8 years, I was the one in control. I went to work on Friday with my head held high. My coworker Shanice noticed something different about me right away. We were at the nurse's station, and she kept looking at me sideways. "Girl, what's going on with you?" Shanice asked. "You seem different." "Just had a wake-up call," I said, smiling. "That's all." I didn't tell her about the video. I didn't tell anyone except Candace. I called her that Friday night and told her everything. There was a long silence on the other end of the phone. "Oh, baby," Candace finally said. Her voice was sad but not surprised. "I'm so sorry, but you know what? Maybe this is what you needed to see. Maybe God was showing you the truth so you could finally break free." "I'm not paying their rent anymore," I said. The words felt strange in my mouth, foreign, but also right. "I'm done." "Good," Candace said firmly. "It's about time. Now, what are you going to do when they come knocking?" "I don't know yet," I admitted, "but I'll figure it out." Saturday morning, my phone rang. Destiny. I let it go to voicemail. She called again an hour later. Voicemail. Then Marcus called. Voicemail. By Saturday evening, the texts had changed tone. "Mama, why aren't you answering? Is everything okay?" "We need to talk about the rent. It's due soon." "Mama, please call me back. I'm getting worried." Sunday morning, I got dressed and went to church like always. New Covenant Baptist had been my church home for 30 years. The place where I had found strength through every hard time in my life. The place where I had dedicated destiny as a baby. Pastor Williams preached about forgiveness that morning, but also about wisdom, about knowing when to help and when to step back, about not enabling people to hurt you in the name of love. It was like God was speaking directly to me. After service, Candace and I sat in the church fellowship hall, eating the fish dinner the hospitality committee had made. That's when my phone started ringing again. "Destiny," I silenced it. "You gonna answer that?" Candace asked, raising an eyebrow. "Nope," I said, taking a bite of my fish. "Let her wait. I've been waiting 8 years for her to treat me right. She can wait a few days for me to decide what I'm going to do." Candace grinned. Now that's the Vivian I remember. The woman who didn't let nobody walk all over her. Monday came. Rent was due in 3 days. The calls from Destiny and Marcus were constant now. 10 calls before noon. I ignored them all. Then Tuesday morning, Destiny showed up at my house. I was getting ready for work when I heard the banging on my front door. Loud, aggressive. Not the gentle knock of someone who cared about disturbing me. I looked through the peephole, and there was Destiny. She looked angry, not worried. Not concerned about me. Just angry that I wasn't doing what she expected. I opened the door, but left the screen door locked between us. "Mama, what is going on?" Destiny demanded. No good morning, no, "Are you okay?" Just demands. "Why haven't you been answering your phone?" "Been busy," I said calmly. "Busy?" Destiny's voice went up. "Mama, the rent is due tomorrow. We need the money today so it can process." I looked at my daughter, really looked at her. She was wearing a brand new outfit, expensive sneakers, fresh braids that I knew cost at least $300, gold jewelry that sparkled in the morning sun. This was someone who was struggling. "Where's Marcus?" I asked. "He's in the car." "Mama, focus. We need the rent money." "Why can't Marcus pay the rent?" I asked. "Doesn't he have that business he's been working on for 8 years? Destiny's face tightened. "His business is in a transition phase right now. You know how it is. We've talked about this." "No," I said quietly. "We haven't talked about anything. You've told me what you needed, and I've given it to you, but we haven't actually talked in years, Destiny." "Mama, what are you talking about? We talk all the time." "When?" I asked. "When was the last time you asked me how I was doing? When was the last time you came to visit me just because you wanted to see me, not because you needed something?" Destiny's mouth opened and closed. She couldn't answer because she knew it was true. "The rent, Mama," she finally said, her voice harder now. "We can talk about all this later, but right now I need you to send the rent money." "No," I said. The word hung in the air between us, simple, final, powerful. Destiny stared at me like I had spoken in a foreign language. "What?" "No," I repeated. "I'm not paying your rent anymore." "Are you serious right now?" Destiny's face was turning red. "Mama, we'll get evicted." "Then maybe you and Marcus should figure out how to pay your own bills," I said. "You're grown. You've been grown. It's time you acted like it." "I can't believe you're doing this to me," Destiny shouted. "After everything I've done for you." That made me laugh, actually laugh. "Everything you've done for me? Destiny, what exactly have you done for me?" I'm your daughter. I talk to you. I include you in my life. You mean you take my money and barely speak to me unless you need something," I said. My voice was still calm, but inside I was shaking. "And you call me a pathetic failure when you think I can't hear you." Destiny's face went pale. "Mama, I told you that was an accident." "The accident was me seeing it," I interrupted. "Not you saying it. You meant every word, didn't you?" "It wasn't like that. Get off my porch, Destiny." "Mama, please." "I said get off my porch. Come back when you're ready to talk to me like I'm your mother and not your ATM machine." I closed the door, locked it, and walked away while Destiny banged on the door and shouted. I went to my bedroom, got dressed for work, and left through the back door. When I got to work, I called my bank. I had been thinking about this all weekend. 8 years of payments. 8 years of receipts. 8 years of proof. "I need to speak to someone about account fraud," I told the customer service representative. That afternoon, I met with Candace at the coffee shop near the hospital. She was already sitting at our usual table when I arrived. "So," she asked, "what happened?" I told her everything, about Destiny showing up, about me saying no, about the look on my daughter's face when she realized I wasn't going to cave. "Good for you," Candace said. "Now what's your next move?" "I need a lawyer," I said. Candace smiled. "I know just the person." That's how I met attorney Jasmine Mitchell. She was Candace's niece, 35 years old, sharp as a knife and twice as cutting when she needed to be. We met at her office on Wednesday afternoon. "Mrs. Reynolds," Jasmine said, shaking my hand, "Aunt Candace told me a little bit about your situation. Tell me everything." So I did. I showed her 8 years of bank statements, 8 years of rent payments, car payments, insurance payments, credit card payments. I showed her the video Destiny had accidentally sent me. I showed her the text messages demanding money. Jasmine looked through everything carefully. When she finished, she looked up at me with fire in her eyes. "Mrs. Reynolds, do you know how much money you've given them?" "I've been afraid to add it up," I admitted. Jasmine turned her computer screen toward me. She had already calculated it. $347,000, give or take a few hundred. I felt the air leave my lungs. $347,000. That was my entire savings, my retirement, my future, gone. "Can I get it back?" I asked quietly. "We can try," Jasmine said. "It depends on a few things. Did they ever promise to pay you back? Did you have any agreements in writing?" "No," I said. "It was always just, I'm her mother, she's my daughter. I was helping her." "But they were defrauding you," Jasmine said. "You were paying their bills under the impression they were struggling financially. But based on what I'm seeing in this video, they were living well beyond what they were telling you. That's fraud." My phone rang. "Destiny." I silenced it. "They've been calling all day," I said. "Their rent was due today. They're probably freaking out." "Let them," Jasmine said coldly. "Mrs. Reynolds, I want to help you, not just get your money back, but make sure they understand what they did. Are you ready for that? Because once we start this, there's no going back. This will change your relationship with your daughter forever." I thought about that video. About Destiny's voice calling me pathetic. About Marcus laughing. About 8 years of sacrificing everything while they lived in luxury and mocked me behind my back. "My relationship with my daughter is already gone," I said. "She killed it. I'm just finally accepting it." "Then let's get started," Jasmine said. That night, I got a text from a number I didn't recognize. When I opened it, my blood ran cold. "Mrs. Reynolds, this is Marcus. Destiny is really upset. She's been crying all day. You're breaking her heart by doing this. She's your daughter. How can you be so cruel? We're about to lose our home because of you. I hope you can live with yourself." I showed the text to Candace over the phone. "That man has some nerve," Candace said. "Breaking her heart after what they did?" "He's trying to make me feel guilty," I said. It almost worked for about 5 seconds. Then I remembered that video. Thursday morning, I woke up to 17 missed calls and 32 text messages. All from Destiny and Marcus. The messages were getting more desperate, more angry, more manipulative. "Mama, we got an eviction notice. They're giving us 3 days. You're really going to let your own daughter become homeless? Everyone at church is going to know what kind of mother you really are. We gave up so much to have a relationship with you, and this is how you repay us?" That last one made me laugh out loud. They gave up so much? They gave up nothing. I was the one who had given up everything. I forwarded all the messages to Jasmine. Friday afternoon, I was at work when Shanice came running up to me at the nurse's station. "Girl, you need to see this," she said, pulling out her phone. "Your daughter is on Facebook going off." My stomach dropped. I looked at Shanice's phone. There was Destiny's Facebook page. She had posted a long message about me. I never thought my own mother would abandon me in my time of need. After everything I've done for her, after all the years I've been there for her, she's turned her back on me and my husband when we needed her most. I'm heartbroken. Please pray for me and for her. Pray that God softens her heart. The post had 63 comments, people I knew from church, people from Destiny's life. all commenting about how sorry they were, how terrible it was, how I should be ashamed. But then I scrolled down and saw other comments from people who knew me. Girl, your mama has been paying your bills for years. Don't play victim now. Destiny, we all know what you've been doing. Stop it. Mrs. Reynolds is a good woman. Maybe you should look in the mirror. Candace had commented too. The truth always comes to light. Always. I felt sick. My personal business was now public. But at the same time, I felt something else. Relief. Because now people knew. Now the truth was coming out. I called Jasmine immediately. I saw it, she said before I could even speak. Mrs. Reynolds, this is actually good for us. She's showing her true colors publicly. Save everything. Screenshot everything. It's all evidence. That weekend was the longest of my life. Destiny kept posting. Marcus kept texting. They called from different numbers. They sent mutual friends to message me. They were pulling out every manipulation tactic they had. But I stayed silent and strong and free. Monday morning, I got a call from an unknown number. Against my better judgment, I answered. Mrs. Reynolds? A woman's voice I didn't recognize. Yes? My name is Keisha Patterson. I'm Marcus's sister. We need to talk. My heart started pounding. About what? About the fact that my brother has been lying to you for 8 years, Keisha said, and I can prove it. We agreed to meet at a coffee shop that afternoon. When I got there, Keisha was already waiting. She looked nervous, scared even. Thank you for meeting me, she said as I sat down. I wasn't sure if you would. What do you want to tell me? I asked. Keisha pulled out her phone. Marcus has been working the whole time. He has a full-time job making $70,000 a year. He's had it for 6 years. He lied to you and to Destiny about the business thing. She showed me Marcus's pay stubs, bank statements, proof that he had been employed this entire time while telling me he was struggling to get his business off the ground. Why are you telling me this? I asked. Because I'm tired of watching him use people, Keisha said, her eyes filled with tears. He did the same thing to our mother, took money from her for years while lying about needing it. She died thinking she had helped him, never knowing he had been scamming her. I don't want him to do the same thing to you. Does Destiny know? I asked. Keisha nodded. She knows. She's always known. Mrs. Reynolds, they've been playing you, both of them, and I have proof of everything. She slid a folder across the table to me. Inside were bank statements, receipts, photos. Evidence of the life they had been living while crying poor to me. Designer clothes, expensive trips, a second car I didn't know about, jewelry, electronics, investments. They had been taking my $347,000 and living like royalty while I wore scrubs with holes in them. There's something else, Keisha said quietly. Something I think you need to know. What? They've been planning this for a while, taking everything they could from you and then cutting you off when they didn't need you anymore. I heard them talking about it at Christmas. They were laughing about how easy it was to manipulate you. The coffee shop felt too small suddenly, too hot. I couldn't breathe. I have recordings, Keisha said, from Christmas dinner. My phone was on the table, and I recorded everything without them knowing. Would you like to hear it? I didn't want to, but I needed to. Keisha pressed play on her phone, and there was my daughter's voice, clear as day. Honestly, I think we can squeeze maybe another year out of her before we cut her off completely. She's so desperate for us to love her that she'll give us anything. It's kind of pathetic when you think about it. Marcus's voice. Your mama is the easiest mark I've ever seen. She actually believes we're struggling. Both of them laughing. Destiny again. Once we get enough saved up, we'll just stop answering her calls. Ghost her. What's she going to do? Sue us? She doesn't have the money for a lawyer. More laughter. I sat there in that coffee shop, listening to my daughter plan my destruction, and something inside me died. The last little piece of hope I had been holding on to. The last bit of love that had been making me doubt myself. It was gone. I'm so sorry, Keisha whispered. I looked up at her. Don't be sorry. Thank you for showing me the truth. I took the folder, I took the recordings, and I called Jasmine immediately. We need to meet, I said when she answered. Right now, I have everything we need. That night, sitting in Jasmine's office, we laid out the entire case. The bank statements, the video, the recordings, Keisha's testimony, the social media posts, everything. Mrs. Reynolds, Jasmine said, her eyes gleaming with the excitement of a good fight. We're not just going to get your money back. We're going to make sure everyone knows exactly what they did to you. Are you ready for that? Before I could answer, my phone rang. Destiny. Without thinking, I answered. Mama? Destiny's voice was small, scared. Mama, please, we're desperate. They're evicting us tomorrow. Please, I'm begging you. I'm your daughter, your only child. Don't do this to me. I looked at Jasmine, at Candace, who had joined us, at the evidence spread across the table, at 8 years of my life and $347,000 stolen from me. Destiny, I said calmly, I'll see you in court. I hung up, and that's when my phone exploded with messages, dozens of them, from Destiny, from Marcus, threats, pleas, promises, lies. We'll pay you back. You're going to regret this. I can't believe you're doing this to your own family. We'll tell everyone what kind of person you really are. And then one final message from Marcus that made my blood run cold. You just made the biggest mistake of your life, old woman. You have no idea what's coming for you. Jasmine looked at me seriously. Mrs. Reynolds, that sounds like a threat. I'm going to recommend we file a restraining order immediately, and we're going to move forward with the lawsuit first thing tomorrow morning. Are you absolutely sure you're ready for this war? I thought about my daughter, about the little girl who used to hold my hand, about the woman who had called me pathetic, about the future I had sacrificed for someone who had been plotting against me all along. I've been at war, I said. I just didn't know it. Now it's time to fight back. The next morning, we filed the lawsuit, Destiny Johnson and Marcus Johnson versus Vivian Reynolds. No, wait, I had it backwards. Vivian Reynolds versus Destiny Johnson and Marcus Johnson for fraud, for financial exploitation, for emotional distress, for everything. And we requested every single penny back, plus interest, plus damages, plus court fees. The legal papers were served to them on Tuesday, the same day they got evicted from their apartment. My phone rang off the hook, but I didn't answer. Not once. Because I was done being pathetic. I was done being a failure. I was done being used. I was finally free. But the war had just begun. The courthouse was cold on the morning of our first hearing. March 15th. I'll never forget that date. I wore my best dress, the navy blue one I had bought for Destiny's wedding. Candace sat on one side of me, Jasmine on the other. Behind us, I could feel the weight of people watching. I turned around and my heart nearly stopped. The courtroom was packed. People from my church, neighbors, co-workers from the hospital. Keisha was there too, sitting near the back. And on the other side of the aisle, Destiny and Marcus sat with their lawyer, a nervous-looking young man in an ill-fitting suit. Destiny wouldn't look at me. She stared straight ahead, her jaw tight, her hands clenched in her lap. Marcus kept whispering to her, but she didn't respond. She just sat there like a statue. The judge entered. Judge Angela Freeman, a black woman in her 60s with sharp eyes that seemed to see through everything. I had read about her online. She was known for not tolerating nonsense in her courtroom. "This is a civil case," Judge Freeman began, looking over her reading glasses at both sides. "Vivian Reynolds versus Destiny Johnson and Marcus Johnson. Mrs. Reynolds is alleging fraud, financial exploitation, and emotional distress. The plaintiffs are seeking restitution of $347,000, plus interest and damages. Is that correct?" "Yes, Your Honor," Jasmine said, standing up confidently. "Your Honor," the other lawyer stood up quickly. "My clients dispute these allegations completely. This was a mother helping her adult daughter voluntarily. There was no fraud, no exploitation, just a family matter that should have stayed private." Judge Freeman looked at him over her glasses. "If it was voluntary and above board, Counselor, we wouldn't be here. Sit down. I want to hear opening statements." Jasmine stood up. She had worked on her opening statement for weeks, and when she delivered it, the entire courtroom went silent. "Your Honor, this case is about betrayal in its cruelest form. For 8 years, Vivian Reynolds worked herself to exhaustion to support her daughter and son-in-law. She believed she was helping them through temporary hard times. She believed she was being a good mother, but the defendants were lying to her. They were living in luxury while crying poverty. They were mocking her behind her back while taking her money. And worst of all, they were planning to abandon her the moment they had taken everything she had. We have evidence, video evidence, audio recordings, bank statements, witnesses, and by the end of this trial, Your Honor, the truth will be undeniable." When Jasmine sat down, I saw Destiny's lawyer whisper urgently to Marcus. Marcus's face had gone pale. The defense's opening statement was weak. Just a lot of words about how family matters are complicated and how gifts don't have to be paid back, and how I was just a bitter old woman trying to punish my daughter for living her own life. Judge Freeman looked unimpressed. Then the evidence started. Jasmine projected my bank statements on a screen for everyone to see. 8 years of payments, rent, car notes, credit cards, insurance, utilities, phone bills, everything. $347,216, Jasmine said clearly. That's how much Mrs. Reynolds paid over 8 years. She's a nurse. She makes $54,000 a year. Your Honor, she gave them more than 6 years of her salary. She has no retirement savings left, no emergency fund, nothing. Your Honor, the defense lawyer jumped up. Those were gifts. My clients never asked for that money to be repaid. Actually, Jasmine said smoothly, They did. We have text messages where the defendants repeatedly promised to pay her back when things got better. Would you like to see them? The text messages went up on the screen. Dozens of them. Don't worry, Mama. We'll pay you back. Once Marcus's business takes off, we'll give you everything back plus extra. You're investing in our future, and we won't forget it. Destiny's face was red now. She was crying quietly. Furthermore, Your Honor, Jasmine continued, the defendants were lying about their financial situation the entire time. Mrs. Reynolds was told that Marcus was struggling to get his business started. In reality, he has been employed full-time for 6 years, making $70,000 annually. The defense can verify this with his W-2 forms, which we have obtained. Marcus's lawyer stood up, flustered. Your Honor, my client's employment status doesn't mean, it means they lied, Judge Freeman interrupted. Sit down, continue, Mr. Mitchell. Jasmine then played the video, the one Destiny had accidentally sent me. The entire courtroom watched my daughter call me a pathetic failure. They heard Marcus mock my nursing job. They heard them laugh. The gasps in the courtroom were audible. I heard someone behind me say, "Oh my God." I kept my eyes forward, but tears were streaming down my face. Your Honor, Jasmine said, her voice hard. This is who the defendants really are, but it gets worse. She played Keisha's recording from Christmas. The entire courtroom heard Destiny and Marcus planning to squeeze me. For one more year before ghosting me, they heard my daughter call me pathetic. They heard them laugh about how easy I was to manipulate. Destiny was sobbing now, her face in her hands. Marcus was staring at his sister, who sat in the back of the courtroom with her arms crossed, looking at him with disgust. The defendants engaged in a years-long scheme to defraud Mrs. Reynolds, Jasmine concluded. They lied about their financial situation, they manipulated her emotions, they took her life savings while mocking her, and they planned to abandon her once they had taken everything. This is not a family matter, Your Honor. This is fraud. The defense tried to recover. They called Destiny to the stand. It was a disaster. Miss Johnson, her lawyer began, can you explain your relationship with your mother? Destiny wiped her eyes. She's my mother. I love her. This whole thing is just, it's a misunderstanding. A misunderstanding? Jasmine said when it was her turn to cross-examine. Miss Johnson, did you or did you not call your mother a pathetic failure in the video we just watched? I was having a bad day, Destiny said weakly. I didn't mean it. Did you or did you not plan to ghost your mother after taking more money from her? We were just talking. We wouldn't have actually done it. But you did do it, didn't you? Jasmine pressed. Once your mother stopped sending money, you stopped all contact with her. You didn't visit. You barely called. You only reached out when you needed something. Destiny couldn't answer. She just cried. Miss Johnson, were you aware that your husband has been employed full-time for 6 years while telling your mother he was struggling to start a business? Yes, but so you knew he was lying to your mother and you said nothing? In fact, you helped him lie. We needed the help, Destiny said, her voice breaking. We have expenses. Life is expensive. She's my mother. She's supposed to help me. She's supposed to help you? Jasmine repeated. Even when you're lying to her? Even when you're mocking her? Even when you're planning to abandon her? Destiny had no answer. When Marcus took the stand, it was even worse. He was arrogant at first, trying to act like he had done nothing wrong. But Jasmine tore him apart, piece by piece. She showed his pay stubs, his bank statements, photos from their social media showing expensive vacations, designer clothes, and luxury purchases, all while they were telling me they could barely afford rent. "Mr. Johnson," Jasmine said, "you and your wife have taken $347,000 from Mrs. Reynolds. Where did that money go?" "Living expenses," Marcus said. "Really? Because according to your bank statements, you've been saving $20,000 a year. You currently have $138,000 in a joint savings account, money that came from Mrs. Reynolds, while she has nothing. Is that correct?" The courtroom erupted in whispers. Judge Freeman banged her gavel. Marcus's face was bright red. "That's our savings. We were trying to be responsible. You were trying to be responsible with someone else's money that you obtained through lies," Jasmine shot back. "Money from a woman who is now broke because of you. Tell me, Mr. Johnson, what does Mrs. Reynolds get from all of this? What has she gained from 8 years of supporting you?" Marcus said nothing. The trial lasted 3 days, 3 days of evidence, 3 days of witnesses. People from the hospital testified about how I had worked double shifts and picked up extra hours. People from church testified about how I had stopped coming to events because I couldn't afford them. Candace testified about how she had watched me sacrifice everything for a daughter who didn't appreciate it. And through it all, Destiny and Marcus sat there, their lies exposed, their true selves on display for everyone to see. On the 4th day, Judge Freeman delivered her verdict. "I've been a judge for 23 years, she began, "and I've seen a lot of cases. But this one," she shook her head, "this one broke my heart. Mrs. Reynolds, would you please stand?" I stood up, my legs shaking. "Mrs. Reynolds, you are a good woman, a devoted mother, a hard worker, and you were taken advantage of in the most cruel way possible, by your own daughter, by someone you loved and trusted completely. No parent should ever have to experience what you experienced." Judge Freeman turned to Destiny and Marcus. "You two should be ashamed. You exploited a mother's love. You lied. You manipulated. You stole. Because that's what this was, theft, dressed up as family obligation, but theft nonetheless." She looked down at her papers. "I find in favor of the plaintiff. Destiny Johnson and Marcus Johnson are ordered to pay Vivian Reynolds the full amount of $347,216 plus interest calculated at 5% annually, plus $75,000 in emotional distress damages, plus court costs, total amount $456,890. The courtroom erupted. Destiny screamed, "No!" Marcus jumped up, yelling about how it wasn't fair. The bailiff had to restore order. "Furthermore," Judge Freeman continued, raising her voice over the chaos, "I'm ordering the immediate liquidation of the defendant's savings account. The $138,000 will be turned over to Mrs. Reynolds immediately. The remaining balance will be paid in monthly installments of $3,000 until the debt is satisfied. Failure to pay will result in wage garnishment. This court is adjourned." The gavel came down with a finality that echoed through my entire body. I had won. Candace grabbed me in a hug so tight I couldn't breathe. Jasmine was grinning from ear to ear. People from the courtroom were coming up to me, hugging me, congratulating me, telling me how proud they were. Through the crowd, I saw Destiny. She was standing alone now. Marcus had stormed out. Her lawyer was packing up his briefcase, already moving on to his next case. She looked small, lost, broken. Our eyes met across the courtroom. For a moment, I saw the little girl she used to be, the daughter I had loved, the baby I had raised alone, and I felt sad, not for what I had done, but for what she had become. But I didn't go to her, I didn't comfort her, I didn't fix it, because that wasn't my job anymore. She had made her choices. Now she had to live with them. Outside the courthouse, the afternoon sun was shining. Spring was coming. The world felt new, fresh, full of possibility. "How do you feel?" Candace asked me as we walked to her car. "Free," I said, and I meant it. For the first time in 8 years, I feel free. The next few weeks were a whirlwind. The story went viral on social media. Local news picked it up. Daughter ordered to pay back $450,000 after defrauding mother, the headlines read. My phone was flooded with messages from people sharing their own stories of being used by family members. The first payment hit my account 2 weeks later. $138,000 from their savings account. I stared at the number on my bank statement and cried, not because I had the money back, but because it meant I had really done it. I had really stood up for myself. Destiny tried to reach out once, a long email about how sorry she was, how she never meant to hurt me, how she hoped we could rebuild our relationship. But it was all words. Pretty words with no meaning behind them. She never took real responsibility. She never acknowledged what she had truly done. She just wanted to make herself feel better. I didn't respond. Marcus's sister Keisha became an unexpected friend. She called me regularly to check on me. "You did the right thing," she would say. "You saved yourself. That takes courage." At church, Pastor Williams asked me to share my testimony one Sunday. I stood in front of the congregation and told my story. About love and betrayal, about sacrifice and exploitation, about the moment I decided enough was enough. God doesn't want us to be doormats in the name of family, I said. Love doesn't mean letting people destroy you. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do is set a boundary, even if it hurts, even if it costs you, because your life matters too. Your peace matters too. Your dignity matters too. The church erupted in amens. Women came up to me afterward, crying, thanking me for having the courage to speak the truth they needed to hear. I started going back to the things I loved. Movie nights with Candace. Sunday dinners at the church fellowship hall. I even started taking a painting class at the community center, something I had always wanted to do but could never afford. With the money coming back, I rebuilt my savings. I fixed my car. I repaired my roof. I bought myself new clothes. Not expensive designer things like Destiny had been buying. Just nice, comfortable things that made me feel good. I went to the salon for the first time in years and got my hair done. The beautician, a woman named Tamika, who had known me for decades, nearly cried when I walked in. Vivian Reynolds, she said, hugging me tight. Girl, I heard about what you did. I am so proud of you. Now let's make you feel beautiful. When she was done, I looked in the mirror and barely recognized myself. Not because I looked different, but because I looked happy, truly happy. For the first time in 8 years, the woman in the mirror looked free. 6 months after the trial, I was sitting on my porch on a Saturday afternoon. The sun was setting, painting the sky orange and pink. I had a glass of sweet tea in my hand, and Candace sitting beside me. You know what I realized? I said, watching the sunset. What's that, baby? I spent 8 years trying to be a good mother by giving Destiny everything. But all I did was teach her that she could take whatever she wanted without consequences. I thought I was loving her, but I was actually hurting both of us. You know what they say, Candace said. Sometimes the most loving thing a parent can do is let their child fall. Let them face consequences. Let them grow up. I hope she grows up, I said quietly. I hope one day she understands what she did. I hope she becomes a better person, but even if she doesn't, I'm okay now. I'm free. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. I almost didn't open it, but something made me check. Mama, this is Destiny. I know you probably won't read this. I know I don't deserve your forgiveness. But I want you to know that losing you was the worst thing that ever happened to me. Not the money, not the lawsuit. Losing you. I took you for granted. I used you. I hurt you. And I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I don't expect you to respond. I just needed you to know. I love you. I always have. I just lost my way. Maybe someday, if you're willing, we can talk. But if not, I understand. You deserve better than what I gave you. You deserved better all along. I read the message 3 times. I felt something inside me soften. Not forgiveness, not yet. But maybe the beginning of something, maybe the start of healing. She texted you? Candace asked, reading my face. Yeah, I said. An apology, a real one, I think. What are you going to do? I put my phone down and looked at the sunset. I'm going to live my life. I'm going to be happy. And maybe someday, if she proves she's changed, really changed, we can talk. But that's a long way off. For now, I'm going to focus on me, on rebuilding, on being the woman I forgot I was. Candace raised her glass of tea. To freedom. I clinked my glass against hers. To freedom. A year after the trial, I was a different woman. Not just because I had my money back, not just because I had set boundaries, but because I had found myself again. I retired from the hospital. After 35 years of nursing, I decided it was time to rest. The settlement money, combined with my retirement and Social Security, meant I could live comfortably. Not rich, but comfortable. And that was enough. I traveled. Just small trips at first. A weekend in Atlanta. A few days at the beach. Places I had always wanted to go, but could never afford because I was paying Destiny's bills. I joined a book club with women from church. We met every Thursday night and talked about books and life and everything in between. I laughed more than I had in years. I volunteered at a women's shelter, helping other women who had been taken advantage of by family members, sharing my story, letting them know they weren't alone, that they deserved better, that it was okay to set boundaries, even with people they loved. And slowly, very slowly, Destiny and I started talking again. Not often, maybe once a month. Short phone calls where she would update me on her life and ask about mine. She got a job, a real job. She and Marcus were in counseling. He was paying me back $3,000 a month like the court ordered, and she had taken on extra work to help. She didn't ask me for money, not once, and that meant more to me than any apology ever could. "I'm proud of you," I told her during one of our calls, "for taking responsibility, for working, for growing up." "I should have done it years ago," she said quietly. "I wasted so much time, Mama. I hurt you so badly. I don't know if you'll ever really forgive me, but I'm trying to be better. I'm trying to be the daughter you deserved all along." "That's all I ever wanted," I said, tears in my eyes, "for you to stand on your own 2 feet, to be strong, to be independent. Not because I didn't want to help you, but because I wanted you to know you could do it yourself." Our relationship would never be what it was. That innocent, unconditional trust was gone. But maybe we were building something new, something better, something built on honesty and respect instead of obligation and guilt. And if we weren't, if this didn't work out, I would be okay, because I had learned the most important lesson of my life. I was enough, just me, just Vivian. I didn't need anyone to validate me. I didn't need anyone to need me to feel valuable. I was valuable all on my own. 2 years after the trial, on my 60th birthday, I threw myself a party, a real party, at the church fellowship hall, with food and music and dancing and joy. Everyone came: Candace, Usatul, Keisha, Jasmine, all my friends from church and the hospital, people from my book club, women from the shelter, my whole community showing up to celebrate me. And in the back, near the door, hesitant and nervous, stood Destiny. She had asked if she could come. I had said yes. We didn't hug. We didn't cry. We just looked at each other across that crowded room. And I saw something in her eyes I hadn't seen in years. Respect. She finally saw me, not as a bank account, not as a means to an end, but as a person, as a woman, as someone who deserved to be treated with dignity and love. And that was enough. Pastor Williams raised his glass of punch. "To Sister Vivian," he called out, "a woman who taught us all about strength, courage, and the power of knowing your worth." Everyone cheered. Everyone raised their glasses. And I stood there, surrounded by love and joy and freedom, and I realized something. I had won, not just in court, not just financially, but in the ways that really mattered. I had won back my dignity, my peace, my life. I had won back myself. And that was the greatest victory of all. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe and feel free to share your story in the comments. Your voice matters.